All right, thank you guys. Wolverhampton takes on Arsenal, 12:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Wolves are the plus 120 favorite. Totals 2.5, juice to the under. The draw is plus 220, and if you like Arsenal to win it, they're plus 250 for some money line cash. And following Thursday's sports wagering action, I went 4-0 in my 4 premium sports picks on patreon.com/Brock page on that day. And of course, that's a website where I sell really great sports pick subscriptions, beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We'll bill you the day you sign up, and then the first of every month following that. We also have a bunch of different great memberships, tiers, and packages on that site as well. And one of those packages is called the board member tier package, and I'm currently 3-0 in my last 3 picks in that category as well. If you want to check out the website, maybe browse a little bit, check out my current record. Link for that site is located in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/Brock page. Now, Arsenal's coming off a very impressive 4-0 victory over Norwich City. They also beat Sheffield United in their game before that by the final of 2-1. That was an FA Cup action. Now, Arsenal is currently on a 3-game winning streak, and that also includes a 2-0 shutout win over Southampton. Arsenal ranks 7th in scoring, and they also rank 8th in total goals allowed. They're giving up just 1.28 goals per contest. They're also 11-8 on the season with 13 draws, and they find themselves just 6 points back of the Wolves in the standings. And on a side note, this Arsenal squad, they haven't tasted defeat, or they did taste defeat in just 4 out of their last 21 outings. They are taking on a 6th place Wolverhampton squad, who's on a nice little 3-game winning streak themselves, coming fresh off a 1-0 shutout victory over Aston Villa. They also shut out Bournemouth and West Ham in their 2 contests before that. And as a matter of fact, the Wolves haven't lost a match in their last 6 straight and gave up just 3 total goals during that span. The Wolves rank 6th in total goals allowed. They're giving up just 1.06 goals per contest. They also have a record of 13-6 on the year with 13 total draws themselves. Now that's 26 combined draws between these 2 clubs. Now total-wise, the Wolves' last 5 straight stayed under the total of 2.5 goals. Give me the draw of plus 220 and the under 2.5 goals in that match. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's international soccer action. But before we go ahead and dive into some more of that, I just have to quickly remind you that after Thursday's sports wagering action, we improved to 5-0 in our last 5 daily best play premium selections on patreon.com/Brock page. And of course, that's a website where I sell really good sports pick subscriptions beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We'll bill you the day you sign up, and then the first of every month following that. There's also a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And one of those packages is called the board member tier package, as we are 3-0 in our last 3 picks in that category. I strongly recommend you at least consider using the website for sports picks. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on. And once again, guys, that website is patreon.com/Brock page. And moving on, we are going to dive into some Spanish La Liga action, the Spanish Primera Division. I'm talking about Granada taking on Valencia, 4 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Valencia is the plus money favorite. They're plus 155 with the total at 2.5 goals. The draw is plus 220, and if you like Granada to win it, they're plus $1.87. Now, Granada's coming fresh off a 2-0 victory, a 2-0 shutout victory over Deportivo Alaves. They've also lost just 2 out of their last 11, and that includes victories over 6th place Getafe and 8th place Athletic Bilbao. The win against Athletic was in Copa del Rey action. Granada is currently ranking 8th in total goals allowed, and they gave up just 0.72 goals per contest in their last 11 outings. They're taking on a favored Valencia squad who's coming off a 2-0 shutout loss to Athletic in their last outing themselves. They're also currently on a 3-match losing streak, and they've been victorious in only 2 out of their last 14 contests, including 6 shutout losses during that stretch. Valencia currently ranks 14th in total goals allowed. They also average just 0.57 goals per contest in their last 7 league matches as well. Now, total-wise, Valencia's last 4 straight stayed under the total of 2.5 goals. 6 out of their last 8 also stayed under that number. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Granada side, 3 out of their last 4 stayed under the 2.5 themselves. Give me the underdogs, Granada, at plus 187 and the under 2.5 in that contest. Next matchup, Italian Serie A. Don't want to make you guys mad. I say Serie A, but everybody really gets upset. So anyway, Italian Serie A, Lazio taking on AC Milan, 3:45 p.m. East. Lazio's plus $1.30, totals 2.5 flat. The draw is plus $1.95, and if you like Milan in the upset, they're plus 225 to win it. Milan hasn't lost a match in their last 4 straight. They shut out Rome 2-0 and crushed Lecce by the final of 4-1 during that stretch. Milan's only lost 2 out of their last 16, holding their opponent scoreless in 7 of those outings. AC Milan is currently in 7th place out of 20 teams in the standings, and they find themselves just 2 points behind Napoli for that 6th place spot. Milan also ranks 5th in total goals allowed. They're giving up just 1.27 goals per contest. They're taking on a Lazio team who's currently on a 2-match winning streak themselves, taking care of Torino and Fiorentina during that short stretch. Lazio's 6-1 straight up in their last 7 and lost just 2 out of their last 17 contests. They're currently in 2nd place in Italian Serie A and find themselves just 4 points behind first place Juventus in the standings. They also rank 3rd in the league in total goals scored. And they've given up just 0.96 goals per contest on average for the season. Lazio is currently 21-3 with 5 draws, and total-wise, Lazio's last 3 straight got over the total of 2.5 goals. 5 out of their last 6 also got over that number. Meanwhile, on the AC Milan side, 2 out of their last 3 got over the 2.5 themselves. I made the case for both squads here. Give me the draw plus 195 and the over 2.5 goals in that contest. All right, next matchup, it is going to be in German Cup action. I'm talking about Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich, 2 p.m. Eastern start time. Bayern's the $2.75 favorite, totals 3.5, juice to the over. The draw's plus 360, and if you like Leverkusen, they're plus $6 for an outright win. Now, Leverkusen scored just 1 goal in their last couple of outings. One of those contests was an embarrassing 2-0 loss to Hertha Berlin. Hertha Berlin finished in 10th place in German Bundesliga, which is in the bottom half of the standings. And, Hertha Berlin won just 11 matches out of 34 attempts, just to give you an idea. We're looking at a Leverkusen squad who tied 12th place Schalke and lost to Bayern Munich 4-2 in their last head-to-head meeting in Bundesliga play. And speaking of Bayern Munich, they were absolutely dominant in Bundesliga action this year. They also beat Frankfurt by the final of 2-1 in their last German Cup contest. And speaking of non-league competition, Bayern crushed Chelsea from the English Premier League 3-0 in UEFA Champions League action back in February. Needless to say, these guys have been excellent in both league and non-league competition. Their Bundesliga record was excellent, finishing the regular season at 26-4 with just 4 draws. Of course, they finished in first place, and they finished 13 points ahead of second place Dortmund in the standings. They also led the Bundesliga in goals with 100, and they dominated defensively as well. They allowed only 0.94 goals per contest for the season. Now, total-wise, Bayern's last 3 non-league contests all stayed under the total of 3.5 goals. They also saw 3 out of their last 5 contests, league or non-league action, stay under that number as well. Meanwhile, on the Leverkusen side, their last 2 straight stayed under the 3.5 themselves. 4 out of their last 5 also stayed under that number. Give me Bayern Munich winning this one straight up for some pricey moneyline cash, included in a parlay if you like it, and the under 3.5 in that match. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be in the English Championship. I'm talking about Bristol City taking on Cardiff, 10 a.m. Eastern start time. Cardiff's plus $1.30, totals 2.5 juice to the under. The draw is plus 220, and if you like Bristol City, they're plus 215 for an upset win. Bristol City's coming off a tough 1-0 loss to Nottingham Forest in their last outing. And as a matter of fact, this Bristol City squad has really struggled as of late, losing their last 4 straight and going winless in their last 9 straight as well. They were held scoreless in 3 of those contests during that stretch. Bristol's also been victorious in just 15 out of 40 contests on the season and ranks 18th out of 24 teams in total goals allowed. They are taking on a Cardiff club who hasn't lost a match in their last 5 themselves, and that includes 3 shutout efforts during that span. They beat Leeds United and Barnsley both by the final of 2-0. They also played Charlton Athletic to a 0-0 draw. Now Cardiff City, they lost just 3 out of their last 18, and they are currently in 6th place in the English Championship. They're just 6 points out of 4th place in the standings. And one more thing to add about Cardiff. They rank 5th in the league in total goals scored. And speaking of the scoring, oddly enough, 3 out of Cardiff's last 4 stayed under the total of 2.5 goals. Meanwhile, Bristol, on the other side, saw 3 out of their last 6 stay under that number themselves. So with all that said and done, give me Cardiff City plus $1.30 and the under 2.5 in that match. And with that said, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be in the Portuguese Primeira Liga. I'm talking about Portimonense squaring off against Vitória de Guimarães, 2:15 p.m. East. Guimarães is plus $1.10, totals 2.5 juice to the under. The draw is plus 225. And if you like Portimonense in the upset, they're plus 260, getting the job done for some money line cash. Portimonense is currently in second to last place in the 18-club Primeira Liga. They've won just 5 out of 29 matches, and they rank 14th in total goals scored. They're averaging only 0.82 goals per contest. Guimarães, on the other side, they're coming fresh off a solid 2-0 shutout victory over Setúbal in their last outing. They've only lost 1 match out of their last 9 outings, and that includes 2 shutout victories over the likes of Tondela and Aves. Now, Guimarães is currently in 7th place in the standings, and they're just 4 points behind 5th place Rio Ave. They also rank 6th in total goals allowed. And speaking of the scoring, 3 out of Guimarães' last 4 stayed under the total of 2.5 goals. Meanwhile, on the Portimonense side, they saw 2 out of their last 3 stay under that number themselves. They also saw 6 out of their last 9 stay under the 2.5. So with all that said and done, give me Vitória de Guimarães plus $1.10 and the under 2.5 in that contest. All right, thanks, guys. That's going to do it for me. Before we head out, I just want to quickly thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed all this great free content and all this great free information. And with that said, happy Friday or Saturday to you, depending on when you're watching this. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.